I hope today I start kind of helping you maybe understand what you're seeing in front of you. But more importantly, as amazing as you all are, as much as I know faith is a big part of your life, some of you get dysregulated. Some of you have anger issues in here. And I can say that not because I know you, I can say that because it's a statistics thing. And so I hope today, if you walk away with anything, it's knowing, if you're somebody who gets dysregulated, knowing a little bit more about yourself, because those kiddos who hurt you and you don't want to admit that they hurt you, trigger you, right? And you're trying to keep it together at school, and you're trying to keep it together in front of your boss and in front of the kiddos, and then you're going home and you've got other people triggering you, and so you're not alone, okay? If you're somebody going, oh yeah, I know what he's talking about, you are not alone in this room, even if you feel like you're alone. There are, I don't know, over 100,000 books written with these little tricks to get kiddos to calm down and to do the, does everybody know what CBT is? Cognitive behavioral therapy. A lot of people think that that is a therapy in and of itself. It is a piece of the therapy. CBT is awesome for willing participants. Know what it's not good for? Your dysregulated kids. It's awesome once you get their buy-in, but it is not good in that moment that you're like, what do I do? How do I get them out of this classroom without causing any more damage? Anybody have an experience like that before? And so this posture will set you up for success in regulating yourself and helping to de-escalate others. This piece that I'm going to tell you, this one-liner, I want everybody to write it down right now. Get your pens out. Don't take it personally. Don't take it personally. Please don't take it personally. You are professionals. You cannot control the classroom even though you set it up and decorate it and you've got the rules and everything else. Please don't take it personally. There is so much that is not in your control. You don't make the rules at the school, even if you influence them. You have nothing to do with what happens at these kiddos' homes. You did not take a part in their genetics. Okay? And so when you take it personally, you set yourself up for failure. You set yourself up for feeling guilty. Because as I tell you, don't take it personally, you're like, it's the most personal job there is. It is personal. No, it's not. It can't be. And so there's this balance that you have to take where you're not taking it personally. It is a job, but you let that piece of you out that makes it personal. Isn't that wild? And that's a skill. You have to think about it. You have to talk about it. You have to practice it. You have to talk in the mirror. When you are dealing with dysregulation in this school, in your classroom, in the school, with a colleague, whatever it might be, okay, you have to decide what your mindset and your attitude is going to be first. We must first decide what attitude, mindset, and spirit we are going to adopt when addressing ourselves and others who are experiencing explosive moments and huge emotions. Now, here's the thing. Those explosive moments, that anger that you see, right? When we're talking about dysregulation, we're talking about anger, right? Right? No. You see, the anger is what you see. The fear, the sadness, the injustice feeling, that's usually what's going on. We are the most complex but simple beings on the planet, right? We are so good at anger, and we are so bad at all the other feelings. We are so bad at all the other feelings that know what we've done? We've basically made it a disorder every time you have a major feeling in anywhere but anger. Isn't that wild? If I feel really, really sad, it's got to be a disorder. Sometimes it is, but not as often as we think. We are human beings who have huge emotions, and we have not mastered how to deal with huge emotions. We spend our entire life, I went to school for this stuff, and I'm still dealing with it. We have not mastered how to have the big feelings and how to teach our young generation how to have the big feelings. We have to categorize everything instead of saying, hey, that big feeling you're having, that's cool. It doesn't make sense for the situation, and that's okay. Your behavior is not okay, and let me teach you about the behavior. Make sense? We live in a world where we are exaggerating everything, right? We know that, right? Everybody's diagnosed. Trauma means adverse experiences, right? Not everything is trauma, people. I'm sorry, it's not. You can have a really adverse situation and experience, and it is not traumatic. We have to define what emotional dysregulation is. As simple as this sounds, defining this is essential because sometimes we react too intensely to a child's mood or tone because we don't believe that it fits the situation. That's why I want to define this for you. Sometimes as adults, we forget that reaction is normal. That reaction is actually like totally on scale with the whole developmental psychology thing. And if we're saying that needs to be fixed instead of that needs to be navigated around, then we might be doing harm. We can't call everything emotional dysregulation. We can't call everything trauma. We can't call everything ADHD, okay? Intense, prolonged emotional reaction, whether it's anger, sadness, or anxiety. Now, intense, prolonged, that's when there's a problem. Now, it's a problem in your classroom because they're disruptive. I get it. We're going to address that. This child is having an adverse reaction, needs to be separated in your mindset so that you know how to deal with things from this is an emotionally dysregulated moment where I might need to ask for help. And it's wild because sometimes adults, you know what they do? They don't recognize, hey, this is a normal reaction for that child's development. And then you like get in the way and you start poking and prodding and doing the stuff. And it turns into this huge dysregulated moment that could have just been a blip on the page for the day. When I talk to people, parents, educators, professionals about de-escalation, their goal is usually to fix. To fix the moment, solve the problem. That isn't de-escalation. I'm not going to teach you guys today how to fix all the stuff in your classroom. You're the experts on that. I don't know. I'm a therapist. Okay? Fixing the problem might take 2 minutes. It might take weeks. And so when we're in the mindset of I need to fix it, we're not in a de-escalating stance. Okay? De-escalation is reducing the intensity or potential for violence and chaos. It is not a way to fix the problem at hand. Here's some really important questions as you feel that, what am I protecting? Okay, this is another one of those questions you've got to ask yourself. What the heck am I actually protecting? Is it the school as a whole? Is it the other students? Is it this student? Am I protecting my morals, my values? Am I protecting? Now, what's your job again? To teach, to educate. And so what you're protecting in this role of yours is the ability to teach. And that's a different framework of, I need to make sure that everybody's following the morals and values that I hold dear in this institution. They're important, don't get me wrong, I have the same morals and values as you. But you see, at the end of the day, your job, you're getting paid to teach. Therefore, when you're dealing with a crisis, when you're dealing with de-escalation, your goal is to make sure that we can keep teaching today. I want to get as many people educated as I can. It isn't to make sure that they get the right cheese on their hamburger. It isn't to make sure that your colleague loves what you did in the classroom. Your job is to teach. You got a job. And you know what? When you take that professional attitude during a crisis, you are more likely to respond well. So you got to know what your goal is. What am I protecting? Well, you're protecting the ability to teach these kids. And you know what? If you've got a kid that can't be taught right now, get them out. If you spend a half an hour trying to get one kid taught because they're dysregulated, you're not teaching, right? It's a numbers game, right? It's a numbers game. How, in this moment, can I effectively teach more? It's a really good question to ask. Rely on the plan. Not relying on the plan. An example of that is your voice keeps escalating. You try to reason with the child. You're in the middle of a crisis, they don't agree with you, they don't even care. They actually agree with you, but they don't care, and you're trying to talk to them about the thing, what? And you don't have a plan for when they're not, right? You don't have a chair plan. You don't have a get them out of the class plan. And so you're going back and forth. You forget about everything. You get dysregulated. They're dysregulated. That's what it looks like when you don't have a plan. Sticking to the plan is, I stay calm because I know what I control and what I don't control, and I know how to follow through. I'm so good at knowing what I'm going to do that it's just second nature. I'm going to follow through. So sticking to the plan would involve very calmly getting the other kids on task, right? And direct it in a healthy way. And then you ask yourself, you know what, do I need help? Do I need to give a call to somebody real quick? Do I need to pretend like I have to go to the bathroom to walk out and come back? All right? So when you have a plan, you stay calm and you assess the situation and you solve the goal, okay? What's the problem? Oh yeah, I need to get everybody on this lesson plan. I need them to get to the end of this lesson. How can I get the chair disruptor to stop disrupting my plan? And I'm going to stay calm about it because I've thought about this. I've practiced it in the mirror. I talked about it in the meeting. Make sense? Boundaries are protective, okay? Boundaries are something that you control the follow through. Boundaries aren't the end all be all to being an educator, a parent, and everything else, but you got to know what your boundaries are, okay? Boundaries keep you from having to engage. Isn't it funny that as adults, we constantly think we need to engage, talk, explain, figure out? No. When I have a boundary, it's so funny. So if you ever join my parenting group, and I encourage all of you every once in a while, pop in. It's free, it's online, it's in person. You will hear me talk about boundaries more than anything else. And it's so interesting because when I teach parents boundaries and they set a boundary, they say, Brandon, your boundaries don't work because they didn't follow them. Huh? Well, tell me more about that. Well, I told them that they're not supposed to put their feet on the chair. And then I told them that they needed to take the feet off the chair. Well, what was the boundary? That they can't put their feet on the chair. It's not a boundary. That's something that you want. That's a rule. And then we started yelling and arguing about the fact that I told them last week the boundary was they can't put the feet on the chair. That isn't a boundary. The boundary is I control the follow through. Here's a boundary for the chair thing, right? You can either stay in this classroom at the back where your feet don't go on the chair, or I'm going to have somebody take you out of the classroom. Now, I'm going to say that consistency in everything that I'm talking about, whether it be boundaries, it be checking yourself, it be the honesty that you have, the discussions you have at school, the policies you put in place. When you consistently deal with dysregulation regularly, what happens is you get better and better at it, okay? You've got to become fluent at following through with boundaries. You're not just going to be able to do it. You have to think about it, write about it, practice it, pretend, talk. When you go over what you wrote down, the notes that you took today, don't file it away. I'm telling you, on a daily basis, you're going to have to learn and remember and practice your management of dysregulation in yourself and other people. Okay, especially the kiddos. Be willing to ask for help, please. You are not going to be the expert in all the children that you are educating. You are not going to be the best interventionist for all the children that need intervening. It's better that you recognize that dude isn't somebody I should deal with. I hope that this was helpful. I know I didn't give you the really cool tricks where you count to 10 and the deep breathing. I am terrible at breathing. I am horrible at yoga and stuff. I gave you things that I hope are more like, I'm going to work on this. I hope everybody found something today that you're willing to work on a regular basis for this year. And I hope that maybe there's some conversations you guys are going to have so that the dysregulated children don't dysregulate this institution as a whole, don't dysregulate your classroom, and more importantly, don't dysregulate you, because this is a job that you take seriously, this is a job that you were built for, but that really difficult child should not make your day bad. I want you to have the skill to come to work, have a really difficult moment, and leave being whole for your families, being whole for your friends. Okay? And so you know you've done a good job in dealing with it when you're not exhausted at the end of the day just because you had a really difficult job. Well, I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much, and I hope that was helpful.